Hi, you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I hope that you all are doing well on today. So, today's message is about boundaries, um, why we have them, and what they are in place for. We have them because we need to be safe mentally, physically, and spiritually. What comes with the territory, um, how to maintain boundaries and your blessings, how serious it is to stay on course. So I'm going to get all into that. So the scripture I have for this, it is Matthew 6:22, and it reads, "Your eye is like a lamp that provides light for your body. When your eye is healthy, your whole body is filled with light." So, you know, when God has us in a place to where, we need to isolate or we need to disconnect ourselves from other people, it's not because we think that we're better than other people. And it's not that we think that, we're entitled to certain things or anything like that of the nature. It's more so to keep us in a place mentally, physically, and spiritually that we can be in position to first hear God and be able to move when he needs us to move. He needs us to be in a place to where we are able to hear him clearly without the influence of other people. He needs us to be in a place of, a peace in our hearts and in our minds, because when we are in a place where we are really agitated and anxious, and sometimes we can miss God and think that it's him, and it can be our own flesh working up and acting up in a place to where it's having us to do things and be compulsive and to do what we feel that needs to be done at the moment, and not what the Lord has asked for us to do, if that makes sense. And also, if we were struggling with any type of thing, some examples, homosexuality, stealing, gossiping, anger, all those type of things, God needs to put us in certain situations or relieve us from certain people and situations and replace us and redirect us, all these things, whatever he has for you at that time and what he wants you to do and what you want you to go through, things like that. He has us in particular places because he needs us to go through the transformation, the change, whatever we need to go through. And you have to remember, when things look bad, it's actually getting better, because God has to, many times, with a situation with a person, he has to, it's almost like he has to provoke the whatever it is that a person may be operating in, or something that they may be dealing with. It has to come up so that it can come out, so you can get deliverance. So the thing has to manifest itself, because when God steps into the room and he comes and leans on you, that thing has to manifest, because the Lord is there. The God is all powerful, so it manifests so that it can be dealt with, so that you can address whatever it is. And the Lord gives you time to do whatever it is you need to do, and then he'll give you steps on whatever it is you need to do, depending on what type of deliverance it is, and how far it is down your bloodline, or how it entered into you and how you were operating in it, those type of things. Some people have deliverance and that's it, it's pretty quick. But then sometimes you have a deliverance with certain things, and it's going to take continuous work and effort and focusedness and fasting and prayer to stay the course, to make sure that you don't go back. And people, we have to understand that it takes more than just being delivered from something, because it can come straight back. And we know, once you're delivered from something, it's going to try to come back and check the house that where it's been at, and it's going to bring more friends with them. So if we're delivered from something, we have to push forward, because if not, it's going to come back worse than before, and it's going to be even harder. Just an example, when people are addicts, they give up the drugs, they go to rehab, they're doing good, they're doing great, all those things. And then they relapse. And then it just seems like every time they relapse, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And it's just like, dang, they feel like, they can't get out, and they can't move forward. But the thing is, with some, they need to disconnect themselves from the things that are triggers and the things that are pulling them back, and the people that are influencing them to live that lifestyle or continue to stay in that way of living and that way of thinking mentally. And then also there's spiritual things that are going on, but that's a whole nother level. But God needs us to stay in a place of being obedient to Him. He needs us to stay in a place of setting boundaries with people. If you have an issue with having friends, that they tend to go further than friends, with quotations. If you have a tendency of doing that, or you have a tendency of misplacing friends, or however, then that you need to set boundaries and you need to be straightforward with people. Or if you're just a nice person, you don't want to hurt people's feelings, and you have certain friends that will take advantage of you and do this and do that, and you have to set boundaries so that the issue will be addressed, and the door will already be shut at the door. It's pretty much point blank simple. So with any situation and anything that God has you doing, it's not that you think that you're better than anybody. It's not that you think that you're more superior. It's not that you think that, whatever it is that people may think that you are, many times it's nothing like that. It's that God has them in a place, or have you in a place, to where you have to stick to where He has you, because once you walk outside of the will of God, you open yourself up to many demonic attacks. You open yourself up to very unnecessary warfare, because you are now stepping out of the will of God, and you're trying to step into something else, and you're trying to do something else, which God is saying, no, I didn't tell you to do that. And I had you here keeping you safe. And then of course, you're still going to go through things when He has you in a place of testing, of resting, or wherever He has you. You're still going to go through things, of course, granted. But I'm saying, you do not want to step out in the will of God and go and try to do something that the Lord has told you not to do, because that brings unnecessary warfare. Like, if you see some people that are very just always doing something all over the place, and it's just like their life is so chaotic and gossiping, and they're just always trying to do something. It's just being too extra. And I know you've seen those people like that. And with those type of people that are always just trying to run and spend money and do this and do that, just doing so much, those are the people that have the most problems. Those are the people that are struggling bad mentally, physically, and financially, because they don't have a place to rest. There's no sleep for the wicked. So they're out here doing all these things, lying and, just trying to scheme and trying to get ahead. And it's like they have no rest. So they are always in a place. It's like they're running. They need something to calm their minds. They need something to put them at ease. They need something to fuel what they have been putting into their body. So if they've been putting junk, they need to be around people that fuel the negativity, the gossip, the drama, the all of that. They need people around to fuel that. And when they're not around people that fuel that, they feel uncomfortable, or they feel some type of way, because they feel like, they're not giving them what they need, which it really is what they need. But for them, it's not what they need at the time. It's almost like a craving for chocolate. If you go around someone that has caramel, or they have mints, hard candies, they're like, I want some chocolate. I don't want no mints and caramel candy type of thing, if that makes sense. So, we have to be in a place disconnecting from the negativity and the drama, and staying where God needs you to be, because sometimes many of us have grown up in toxic and drama filled households, friendships, whatever, and we're used to that, and sometimes it can be uncomfortable, where God can be shifting us into a place to where He doesn't want us gossiping or talking about this or doing that, and it feels uncomfortable to us. So we'll go back to what we feel used to, and what we have been accustomed to. And, many times God is having us, have you ever noticed like some of your friends or family members or just people you've known for a long time, they're just like, it just kind of seems like they're dropping off like flies, or people acting funny, or people doing this and people doing that. And it's like, you have to understand and realize, where are these people at, and what are they doing, and how is their lifestyle, and are they going where I am going? And if they're not, they may be a sign or indication that it's time to separate from these people, or it is time to move away from these people, or it's time to cut ties and cut your losses with these people. Once you notice if you're going into a certain direction where they're not going, and things just seem to be getting weird, or God has been showing you things, or you have just been seeing things personally, and you're just like, I never noticed that before. It's coming the time to where the Lord is opening our eyes to so many things that we could not see before, and now we're able to see clearly people's true colors, and people's true intentions, and people's true struggles, that they are going through, type of things. So again, just be mindful of where you are in God, and don't try to push for where you want to be, meaning, allow the Lord to lead you. And that's with every single last thing that you do. We set goals. God gives us, a direction on where to go and how to do things and all that. But the main thing is, if God did not open that door yet, or if he didn't give you a yes to go, you do not move. Because it will be like literally hell to pay, because you're stepping into a realm, you're stepping into a battlefield of warfare that you're not necessarily equipped to handle, or it's going to wear you out, and it's going to wear you down into a place to where you're just like, what in the world is going on? Yes, it may be your door, but it just may be just a tiny bit too soon, and it will wear you out. So then when the manifestation of the actual blessing comes, and you're in that door, you're going to be worn out, tired, and you're not going to be in a place mentally and spiritually to receive it properly. And that's why a lot of people get these blessings and they're tired, they're irritated, it's too much, it's this, it's that. It's because sometimes, just sometimes, you've walked in prematurely into a battlefield, and you have been experiencing warfare that you weren't even supposed to go through. We always have warfare every day, but then there's another level of warfare when you're out of line with the Lord, or you're trying to connect with people and do all these other things that benefit your flesh or benefit man. You make things harder. We make things harder for ourselves, because we are now operating in flesh and operating in man, and we are idolizing man, and that gets us in trouble every time. That's why we get so frustrated, and that's why we get so defeated, because we are in a place of not listening to God. And of course, we go through life and things happen. So we just have to learn to wait on the Lord. And also, take time to pray, and also find people that you can pray with and talk to, or just find people you can pray with, or ask people to pray for, things like that. Something to get you to the next day and keep you encouraged. And things too, some people are not scared, and some people are not soft. And this is talking about just situations, how some people think that, you're better than them, or you're acting this way, you're acting that way. They think that, you scared, you can't do this and you can't do that. But for the true believers that are seeking after God, this is an understanding that people need to realize. When people are seeking after God, they have a real fear of the Lord. And that means they are scared to disappoint him more than they want to react to what you're doing or what's happening in the world. They are committed to the relationship that they have with the Lord, because they take it serious. And people that are walking with Christ, us people that are, really walking with Christ, and that's why I said it like that. Us people that are walking with Christ, we have a sense of fear of the Lord, because that is the first step of wisdom. Is fear of the Lord. And I'm not talking about a fear to where it's crippling and this and that, but it's a reverential fear that is good to have, to continue to, push and to strive and to be better. That type of fear. So also, people are going to be people. There's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we can say. God vindicates us on everything. Sometimes it takes too long, and sometimes, it may not look like how we want it to look, and things of that nature. But we have to just continue to push forward, and remember, we don't have to keep explaining ourselves to people, because God has already laid the foundation. He's made your steps, and he's telling you when to move. So you don't have to sit there and try to justify why you have boundaries, and justify why you're doing this and why you're doing that. It's just go with the flow of God, and just make sure you stay in a place mentally, physically, and spiritually where you got yourself together, and close to God. Get closer to God. The harder things get closer to God. And just remember your obedience. Your obedience. God loves obedience. You know what I mean? People are going to wish that they treated you better. And, people are going to wish, they haven't done this, or they didn't do that, or they should have did this, or they shouldn't did that, because you're in a place of obedience and you're following God. He has to reward you. You're doing everything that he has called for you to do. And some people get mad because they're not doing anything, or they're not doing what God has called them to do. They're actually doing the opposite. Now, a lot of people are in rebellion, and if they see someone in obedience, and of course with obedience, we're not all perfect. So if you're striving to do your best, God is going to reward you. And people that are in rebellion and they're going to feel some type of way, because they feel threatened, or they feel, however they feel, but just keep going.